Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spiritually Fucked podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Mulholland. Let's get into the show. For When the World is Falling Apart, a lighthearted podcast. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTube. If you are on YouTube and you see me right now, this is just how I look. And, it's been a very Colorado summer. I've been swimming in the creek a lot and getting lots of sun, so my hair reflects that, and I just don't wash it anymore. I just let the creek wash my hair for me. And so that's what's going on right now. I felt like addressing that, and also that I have my notes right here in front of me because I'm a big girl and I'm learning how to podcast, and the notes are helping keeping me on check because I go off and I ramble, and that's just who I am. And if you're here and you're with me, thank you. It's the 6th episode. So let's get into it. And I'm still trying to figure out this mic. It's really, really close to my face and my mouth right now. So that's just how it's going to go. And it's really loud in my ears, but we're just going to roll with it. So anyways, that's a minute. Okay, why am I making this podcast? Well, why am I doing anything anymore? And that was the question that I asked my friends. And I feel like collectively we're going through this huge, massive shift. And so a lot of us, people who are meant to do bigger things or to step in bigger roles, are being put in really uncomfortable situations that are pushing us for growth. And a lot of, at least in my life, all my growth happens from very uncomfortable situation. It's when I'm in a spot where I'm so icked out by my life and I need to make a change. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm in the ick. I'm in the thick and the ick of it. And I'm being pushed towards something bigger, something grander. And I am having to change. And so I've been sitting in my shit lately, literally. I'm just like, I've put myself in a situation where I'm feeling all these emotions that I've been avoiding in the past, and they're all coming up all at once, and I know it's here for change. And so I'm having to change that. But in the meantime, I caught myself in this loop where I'm just mad at myself. I'm like 29 where I'm at. I'm just in this stuck loop. And instead of spiraling upwards, I'm spiraling in a circle. And not to go off of my other episode about spiraling, but the question was, why am I doing anything anymore? Like, why am I doing anything anymore when the world is falling apart and everyone's talking about how awful the things are happening in this world? What's the point of even doing anything anymore if the world is so horrible? And I was just like, what the fuck? This is where I need to stop. I'm being too bombarded with the external experiences that are happening right now, and not to be here to bypass any of that at all whatsoever. But it was just, how am I living my life to what is happening in this world? Because we all are empaths, okay? No one is super special and they feel everything, but other people don't feel it. No, we're all empaths. It's just some people are more developed in their gifts, so they are more sensitive to energy and whatever. And me and all my friends are very, tapped in because, we don't use fluoride and we cleanse our pineal glands, and because we work on intuition and we meditate and all that. And so we are very sensitive, quote unquote, sensitive beings. But that should not be an excuse to escape from reality. And I caught myself escaping. I'm like, what's going on in this world is just, it's so hard on me. I can't see what's happening. And it's too hard to see all this going on, and I'm just blah blah blah, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? That is BS. You can't escape from it. And I kept feeling like I just want to run away into the mountains and be with nature, and of course, like, that sounds amazing and anyone would want to do that, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we chose and signed up to be here at this time. And so we have to step into our light, we have to step into our mission and fucking go for it. And we can't keep escaping, because if you're sensitive and you can't handle what's going on and so you choose to escape, well, you're missing the gosh darn point. I just caught myself being quote unquote sensitive, and it's all here for me for a reason. And I feel that reason, or I know that reason is that it's like going to the spiritual gym or going to the gym of life, where you're getting stronger and stronger in your experiences, in these experiences that keep showing up, coming up, to get stronger and to develop a muscle for them. Let's just say I've been deep in the spiritual gym, not only having to strengthen my experience around external darkness, like dealing with the dark forces and whatever. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but also with my own internal darkness. And I'm realizing all these emotions and feelings are coming up for me to transmute them, because energy never disappears or is destroyed. It's just transmuted. What I'm experiencing with these feelings that are coming up, the deeper root of them are coming from my life experiences in the past. Where they're coming up now is so I can look at them, forgive them, and let them go. And that is called evolving. So I'm evolving very rapidly right now because I'm experiencing a lot at once. And I caught myself in this loop. I was down in the dumps and I was just so mad at myself, and I just wanted to run away and escape, and I wanted to delete all my social media. I just launched this podcast, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I want to run away. I want to escape. I can't do this anymore. I am just mad at myself for I couldn't even give a good reason. I just felt this anger at myself. I had this conversation with my friend, and I swear I have the best friends ever, where we are just so real with each other, and that's when real shifts and growth happens. And he reminded me is we have a fucking choice, and I was choosing to be here. I was at the creek, and if you've ever been in nature or water, there's something about this portal that opens up where, well, from my experience, where you just talk so deep. Like, all these deep conversations come up whenever you're sitting in water. It unlocks something. My mom, she was on Instagram, and she was like, who said this quote? To change, you have to be greater than your environment, your thoughts, and your mind. It was something along those terms, and I was like, okay, that's obviously Daddy Joe Dispenza. Anything that has the word greater, to change, or like to be greater, is going to be him. And in that moment, I made her repeat it 5 times, because I'm like, I need this in my brain, stamped in the like a big huge poster board sign. To change, I must be greater than my environment. The last few weeks, my environment's been greater than me, because I'm letting my environment control how I am. And everything is a reflection. Literally a few days ago, my freaking closet broke. And the last time my closet broke was the same week I pulled my back and needed a complete rewrite of my life. It's one of those experiences where you just have to say, oh my God, this is so happening for me. The metaphysical signs of like a closet is like everything you kind of shove in there. Like, you just shove things in your closet and you shut the door and you never figure it out, or you never look at it. But then my closet broke. And so everything that I have shoved away in the past, it's breaking and it's crumbling me, because I haven't dealt with it. And so I was really diving deep in this. And if something happens in my life, I'm going to squeeze the juice out of everything. And I'm like, okay, I'm like looking at my closet. I'm like, well, why is it broken? Is there too many clothes on the hanger? Like, you just look at it and you're like, okay, that's easy. Like, there's too many clothes on the hanger. It's too heavy. And then I was like, well, am I too much? Can I not hold my ground because I think I am too much? And then I was like, no, no, no. The structure of my closet is faulty, because it's right next to my washer and dryer. And the washer and dryer shakes the walls and it shakes the screws loose. So I thought I was too much because I kept breaking. But in reality, it was the structure that was causing me to break. And my structure right now is fucking crumbling, because I never knew how to have a strong structure. I grew up with a single mother. I didn't have a dad to show me structure. And granted, I signed up for this life. I have unconditional love for both my parents, and especially for my dad, because I signed up for that. But I'm realizing I still have no structure. I thought I had structure when I broke my back last year, but you know what? Your girl still is working on building structure. And then it got deeper. I saw the structure in the closet was weak because of the environment it was in. It's not my closet's fault that it broke. It's the fact that the environment it's right next to my washer and dryer, is causing it to break. So, my closet either has to be stronger than all the other closets because the environment it's in is weak, or it has to change the environment to be a strong closet. And if you are either really understanding this story or you think I've lost my fucking mind, but if you're friends with me, you know I talk a lot in metaphors, and everything in our external life is a reflection of what's happening internally, and this happened externally, and it's a perfect reflection of internal. Or you just think I'm batshit crazy and think I'm a Looney Tunes. But you know what? If you think I'm Looney Tunes, then I'm doing something right. Back to my closet. What am I gonna do? Well, it made me realize like I can't just get up and leave and go move out of my house and build up my own stability because right now I just don't have the financials for that. Or do I want to spend all my money in living alone? You know, like I have to change myself and I have to become stronger. So with these experiences that have coming up with me feeling highly emotional, I started meditating again. And this is the point of this podcast is when the world externally feels like it's falling apart, you have radical responsibility in how you are going to react. That is the line of this podcast. If you take anything from this, it's that you are a human who has radical responsibility and you have a choice to how you are reacting to your external environment. You know what? There's things that we can't change. I can't change the climate. I can't change the homeless situation here in Boulder. It's horrible. But me as a single person, I could maybe do a little things that will help, but I have to have radical responsibility to how I react to those situations. So, those are bigger reflections of what's happening in all of us individually as humans, like with, okay, you want to talk about the earth and how there's so much plastic in the ocean. Well, you as a human, the only thing you can do is to stop using plastic. You know, you can't go out and, well, I guess you can go and spread the word and whatever, but you as a human, you have radical responsibility. You have to stop using plastic. You have to stop wasting paper towels. You have to stop, wasting water. That's like one way you are choosing to have radical responsibility to change the bigger picture. Not yelling at people, because that's another thing that I see is when something's wrong in this world, that's when people start to react at people. You know, they start to say, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. And you know what that's doing? It's causing more fear. And that more fear is going to cause more problems in this world. Because if everything is energy and we're all a frequency, you being in that frequency of fear and hate is only going to cause more fear and hate out there. So you have to be the radical, responsible human saying, nope, I'm changing this. I'm changing this frequency at my level, and it's going to be a butterfly effect and ricochet to everyone I meet. And so with these past few weeks, I've just been down in the dumps and I'm like, meh, I'm mad at myself and this sucks. And you know what I fucking did? I said, oh shit, I have a choice to be here and I'm going to change. What did I start doing? Well, I'm going to tell you because I'm here to share my story and it's really helped. And I also, here's another thing is I've really learned to love and accept the fact that I do go in these big polarity roller coasters of being down in the dumps and then also being like, I love life. Life is amazing. Because it pushes me to be greater in my times of downfall. And, there's no neutral ground with me. I'm either high or I'm low or somewhere in between, but it's always a roller coaster. It's always the polarity. And I used to get so hard on myself. And then I realized, you know what? If I don't get so gosh darn down in the trash can, there's no way I'm going to go back up. Because where I'm at, I'm fucking slingshotting way back up because I'm taking this opportunity to reevaluate everything in my life. And it's been such a gift already because I have seen change in just the little bits and pieces that I have experienced. The reason I put this is a lighthearted podcast because this should be a reminder for you that you have ultimate choice in your life and you can blame everything around you for being the reason why you are or where you're at in life. Or you can say, no, 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 I'm changing. I have radical responsibility. And this is what Joe Dispenza teaches. He doesn't use the word radical responsibility. That word I actually got from Kim Anami, who is another person who's like, you're in control of your entire life, which is absolutely true. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fucking realist. I could have blamed every single problem or every single experience I had in my life for where I'm at right now. I have an entire list. You don't want to hear the list because that would make me a victim of my past. And if you are a victim of your past, you're going to live there and you're never going to change. And it's the victimhood mindset that this world is running on. That is the problem. So I just went freaking off, but just think there's two people out there. They're the people who have radical responsibility and there's people who are victims. And if you are a victim of your environment, you're choosing to be there. You could list 1,000 excuses of why your life is the way you are. And I will probably have sympathy for you and compassion for you. But that is the moment you get to change because you have awareness of what's going on. And that is your opportunity for change. And if you are there a year later, you're choosing to be there. I'm telling you. And trust me, I have friends that are going through a lot of shit right now. And I see people out there that are going through a lot of shit right now. But it's happening to them for a reason. Whatever that reason is, that's the soul contract they signed. I can't tell them that. You know, I've seen a lot go on with people. So I want to be a realist. And if you are going through a really hard time right now, I have so much compassion for you. But this is your opportunity to look at it and say, wow, how can I shift from this? It's not gonna be overnight, people. I didn't wake up tomorrow with $1 million in my account because I made this mindset shift, but I'm doing little tiny things every day that are getting me closer and closer to my desired goal. And that desired goal, well, I'm not gonna tell you because that's my life, but a lot of it has to do with freedom. I think anything in life, we just want freedom. That's why people want to be rich because they want freedom. That's why people want, I don't know, their own house because they want freedom. Freedom to experience life. That's why we come here as humans. That's why we want all these things that we want. And it's typically because, you know, riches and desires are typically because we just want freedom. Like we want money so we can go off and travel and be free. I want money because I want to make a lot of hot tonics that are really expensive and herbs cost money. And I want to go spend my summers in Italy. Like, of course, I want money, but it's not the physical money I want, it's the freedom. And so when it comes to manifesting, you have to manifest the feeling of what you want because, well, I'm going off tangent again, but you're welcome because you'll get a lot of juice out of this one. When I went to Europe, all I wanted was to experience Europe and like just to go around Europe and just do whatever the fuck I want. And I did that on a very, very, very low budget. Like how much money I spent in Europe, I'll just tell you. I spent $3,000 for an entire month in Europe. That included flights, stay, and everything. So I wasn't, you know, busting my ass this entire year to save all this money for Europe. I literally put my heart in Europe and it guided me there. And people could be like, well, you were lucky because you had places to stay and you knew friends out there that would house you and you don't have a real job, blah, blah, blah. You could say all that. Or you could say, I set my heart in Europe and my heart fucking took me there. And everything just fell into place. I can't wait to share the story about how Europe even fucking happened. But all I said was, I'm going to Europe for a month. And it ended up being so freaking cheap. It was great. Granted, I'm a freaking hustler when it comes to money. Like, obviously, I'm going to get the cheapest flight to Spain. Like, it was like $600, I think. That's not a lot for a round trip. And of course, I'm going to only spend my money on things I really need. You know, I'm not going to be going out spending $100 on dinner, like that's like a couple weeks of groceries. Like I'm going to be conservative because that's who I am and that's who I was on that trip, and it ended up being amazing because all I was focused on was the feeling of being there. I didn't care where I was. I just wanted to walk around the streets and look at shit. And that's what I did. And so we're going to get back into the podcast that we were based on. Yeah, let's just go over these notes. Don't let fear-based spirituality or people telling you that this world is going to shit, it's all your fault, blah, blah, blah. Don't let that change your frequency. This is your choice to say, I'm going to see this. We're not spiritual bypassing here. I'm going to see this. I'm going to observe it. I'm going to take it in and I'm going to transmute it. How can I make myself a better person in this horrible situation? How can I evolve? We can't control what other people do. I don't know if you've ever tried. I'm sure a lot of parents have tried to control their kids, but at the end of the day, the kids are going to do what the kids want to do. And you just have to learn how to control yourself in those situations when your kids are uncontrollable. I'm not a parent, but I've seen my mom try to control us kids and it doesn't work. That's why I went to Europe again for a month. The second time, I went to Europe a second time after she said I couldn't. If you choose to be in a frequency of love and joy, the people around you, you're only going to inspire. And we're going to shift collectively. That's how it works. It's not an overnight shift. It's a one-by-one shift. If you were around me these last few days, and my mom could totally confirm this, I've been a little cunt, okay? I've just been in the worst gosh darn mood because I'm mad at myself. And I felt really bad. I felt sorry. I'm like being mean to her because I'm being mean to myself. And that's how reflections work. And my mom's not listening, but I'm sorry. I'm really ratting myself out here, but that's what this podcast is. So you get all the juice and tea. I wrote a note. I'm looking at my notes. We forget that we have choice because we are in a society that reminds us that we don't have choice and that everything is controlled by the government, which people, you have choice. It is your choice to order from Amazon. It is your choice to, I don't know. I think the environmental impact is a perfect example. It's because it's like you can't blame other people for doing that. Like it's you who is the problem if you are choosing to do things that are bad for the earth. Like stop. Like don't get me wrong, like I order from Amazon. Like I am contributing to that. So therefore, I can't yell at anyone else for contributing to that because I have radical responsibility. And if I'm radically responsible, I have to own up to that. There's just been experiences in the past where I've seen people fight about, or I've seen like an influencer like really yell at people for doing like ordering off Amazon and, using the toilet. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, are you trying to educate us on ways we can be better for the environment? Or are you just trying to have people hate themselves? Some people just don't know. Like, did you know when you flush the toilet, you waste like 8 gallons of water? She said that, and it made me feel like shit. And I didn't know it did that. It gave me an ick because this is a spiritual influencer teacher, but at the same time, she's literally yelling at people who are doing things that maybe they don't know. And it's causing us to be in a frequency of self-hate. And I was like feeling this all last week because I was choosing to be there. I don't want this to be a podcast on the environment, okay? But it's just an example of how things can really go out of whack and how hate, no one's going to change from hate. And here's another thing, if you can leave here with this, I've been having fucking downloads lately because I opened up this portal of change. I'm like, I promise I'm going to change. And I started meditating again. You have to love yourself healed. You can't hate yourself into healing. You can't hate yourself into healing. And I realized this when I started picking at my face. And I was so mad at myself after I did it. I used to have cystic acne, so whenever I have a pimple, I pick at it and it fucking makes me so mad. And I know I manifested this pimple because when I was picking at it and then I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw literally gushing blood, again, I'm ratting myself out here. I was so mad at myself. And I was going to bed and I'm like, ugh, hate you, Taylor. You suck. Like, you just pick at your face and you're so annoying for doing that. And then I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I have to love myself in these moments. I have to love myself healed because I'm never going to heal from picking at my face or never going to love myself fully when I'm perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. So I have to love myself in these horrible moments. But at the same time, this is the responsibility part. I have to change after that. I have to love myself for doing something ungodly, like picking at my face and making myself look ugly. But then I have to choose to change. And that change is not picking at myself anymore because it's not good for me. It's not good for my skin. And if my facial lady is listening to this, I'm sorry. I did it again. It's just a habit I have been working on. Here's the other part of that is spiritually bypassing. This is what I see out there. Spiritually bypassing a toxic behavior, but not changing from it. It's like, okay, let's say I steal from the store. I keep stealing from the store. Oh, but I love myself. So it's okay if I steal from the store because I'm just going to forgive myself after. What? No. Like, you have, like, that's something that is not good. Like, you have to stop. You have to choose to change when it's not loyal or it's causing harm on someone and it's causing harm on the people who produce these products. That's like someone coming over to my house and stealing my book. Oh my God, like, of course, maybe they unconditionally love themselves and they forgive themselves, but they're doing damage to not only me, who book they're stealing, but to themselves. And so you have to choose to change. You love yourself and then you can shift. I don't know. There could be other good examples there. If I think of one, I'll let you know. Oh, I thought of one. What is it called? Breadcrumbing? Or what's that one? Oh, I'm going to think of it. Gaslighting. That's the one. Okay, so you can be highly aware that you gaslight people. And you can love yourself for gaslighting them. Like, oh, I forgive myself. I gaslight people. It's just, I forgive it. I forgive myself. I love myself. I gaslight people, but I love myself. But if you continue to gaslight people, you're not being a good person. So a part of this is being a good person, but loving yourself in the moments when you are not a good person. Forgiving and then choosing to change. It's like being lazy. Like, oh my God, I was so lazy. And I was hating on myself because I've been so lazy. And then I was like, okay, I love myself, but I have to change. I have to stop being fucking lazy. And so I got off my ass. But I did it out of love and a little hate. But, I'm learning. I did it mainly out of love because I love myself because I know I am meant for more. We're shifting and evolving. So, what do I do when I'm in these moments of self-hate? That's such a fucking strong word, but whatever. Okay, when I'm not feeling great about myself or I know I need to change, what do? The first thing I do is I take a spiritual cleansing bath because it could be something on me. And if you've never taken a spiritual cleansing bath, they're pretty relaxing. And a lot of the times when we are experiencing really deep, big emotions, maybe they aren't ours. And maybe there is something attached to me. Like, I don't know, I like to think of an amoeba, like a spiritual amoeba that I picked up somewhere. And it's like, is this actually me? Or can I cleanse from this? And so I took a spiritual bath and these emotions were still there. So I was like, okay, this is me. This is all me, baby. So, if you want to take a spiritual bath, you can look it up. There are some herbs. I typically use Van. It's like I put Van and some Epsom salts and I fucking pour that shit on me. And I'm just like, praying over my bath water. And you want to like pour the water on you and like brush it off. And I am a believer in Jesus. I love Jesus. So I'm going to be saying Bible verses when I'm doing this because I want to cleanse fully and I want to bring light into this room, into this energy, and I'm going to cleanse from whatever is no longer serving me. And these do help dramatically. And then when I get out of the bath, here's the thing that everyone misses. You want to put that protection layer on because we can cleanse and sage us all day, but guess what? When you walk out of your house, those spiritual amoebas are going to stick to you. So when you cleanse, that's great. Good job. Congratulations. You got to do step 2, which is the spiritual protection. And the easiest way you can do is pray Psalm 23 over some olive oil and put it on your body when your skin is still wet, when the salt's still on there. You start from, oh no, is it the crown of your head down or the feet up? I don't know. I know when you cleanse, you want to cleanse from the crown of your head down and swoop it off. So maybe, I don't want to give you bad information, but just put the oil on. That's the most important thing. Pray over the oil. Make sure your breath touches the oil and put that shit on and rub it in. And know it's a spiritual protection because your energy is sacred and you don't want any of those spiritual amoebas to continue to stick on you. So there's cleansing and then there's protection. I do teach a course in this, so if you want more of that, hit me up. So yes, that's the first thing I do. But if I need something like immediately, just take a moment and you pause. And you can do it now. Take a moment to pause, present, and shift. I've been doing this a lot lately. If you have tuning forks, grab your tuning forks. Those are what is going to stamp the frequency into your fields, because if you have CNG tuning forks, those are going to create, I don't know how to do it or how to explain it. I just know it works. It's going to create a shift in your field and it's going to lock in that frequency. So you take some deep breaths. If you don't have the tuning forks, that's fine. Take some deep breaths, even if it's 1 minute. Close your eyes. You can do this right now. You want to tune in to the center of your core. You want to picture that grounding cord going all the way down your feet, all the way into the center of the earth. Whatever color you want. I like electricity color, blue, silver, whatever. Lock it into the center of the earth. You want to imagine all the electricity happening in the middle of the earth. That's where the energy comes from. And then you imagine that cord coming back up through the earth, into your feet, into your hips, into that center core where your solar plexus is. And then you want to imagine it coming all the way up. This is a new cord. Well, it's the same cord, but new cord. Coming all the way up through the crown of your head. Going all the way to the heavens. Whatever heaven looks like for you. Stars, galaxies, clouds, your deities, whatever you want. You connect it all the way up there. You just touch your little heaven cord up to the sky, and then you bring that heaven cord all the way back down through the crown of your head, through your body, and it meets in the middle. And I just imagine that, and then I tune into the 4 directions. If you don't know where they are, just take out your phone. This is important. This is something you should do every morning. I do this every morning. You connect with the 4 directions, north, south, east, west. It's coming in through the chest, the side, the back, and the other side. And you're getting a free preview of spiritual protection and cleansing. And so you imagine that, and then there's other things you can do, but that's more advanced. And you take a few breaths there, okay? You feel what you're feeling. You don't bypass it, but you choose to shift. How can you shift that? Well, you got to pause. And if more things start to come up there, that's when you want to ask the questions, where is this coming from? Is this coming from a current situation or in the past? And if there's something that comes up and it's a past situation, well, guess what? You have to sit and you have to deal with it. And maybe we don't have time to deal with it, but make a note to go deal with it later because it's coming up for a reason. But if you're just in a bad place, start with the freaking take a moment, pause, present, and shift. This is your opportunity to change. And if you are a parent, you might not get a lot of time for this, but you are a parent and you have to show up for your kids. This is what you sign up for when you become a parent. And so if you want to show up for your kids, you got to do this work. You got to pause and you got to shift because you don't want to be transmuting this to your kid. And if you do, granted, they signed that soul contract too. So don't get hard on yourself. You're a human. Do your best to try. And if you've ever watched Star Wars, which I haven't, but there is this quote, there is no try, you just do and do not. Just do it, okay? Do it for not only your kids, but do it for you. This is why I love Joe Dispenza's teaching, because if you go to his retreats, and once you've heard enough testimonials of the work that people do, you will say, my life has changed forever and I'm in full control of it. I mean, people are healing cancer, tumors are disappearing. They're literally disappearing because people are choosing to meditate and take forth in their life. If you tell him it's not working, he will tell you you're not trying hard enough. And I like to live by that because right now in my life, I'm not trying. I'm not trying hard enough. And that's why I am where I'm at and my back still hurts because I'm still choosing every day to do things that are making it hurt. That's one thing you can do is you pause, present, and shift. I just created that. Should I copyright it? I don't know. I copyrighted a book, if you didn't know that. Um, anyways, so if you want to go deeper into pause, present, and shift, go do some meditation. And again, no excuses. You have 24 freaking hours in a day. Go sit down and close your eyes for 5 minutes. That's a meditation. You don't have to do it for an hour. I hear people all the time the excuses. But if you are sitting in a crowd and you're looking on stage and you see someone walk out of their wheelchair because they chose to meditate every day, you're going to want to fucking meditate because you'll realize it does change your life. And if you don't believe me, you haven't tried hard enough. Okay? I've done some crazy things in meditations, and only because A, I chose to be there, but two, I put in the work. And I haven't been putting in the work lately, and it's reflecting in my life. So, your girl's meditating again. And again, I don't want to hear money as an excuse because, again, everything I'm going to tell you is free. Breathing is free. Meditating, it's free. Even the recorded ones. Go on YouTube. Do you know how long I use YouTube meditations? I want you to be aware of who you're choosing to choose YouTube meditations from because you want to find a good teacher. And I actually really liked Insight Timer because it was free. And they just had good meditations. They had a big variety, but you find one teacher you like and you stick with them. And you can totally pay for meditations. I think when you do put energy towards something or you put money towards something, it makes you want to do it more because you're paying for it and there's an exchange. So if you buy a meditation on Joe Dispenza's website, you're probably going to want to do it because you're like, well, I spent money on that. So I'm going to take advantage of what I spent money for. For this, I would recommend grounding meditations or being put in your heart. There's one that Daddy Joey does, Joe Dispenza. It's called Go Love 20, I think. It's like a 15-minute meditation. That meditation specifically has some sort of programmed frequency that puts you into space. Like, it's so many people have done it and have had so much healing from that meditation that collectively, when you do tune in and press play, it does something for you. So it's freaking free. Go download it. Embodiment. A lot of the times when we're feeling 10 feet above our heads, it's because we're not in our bodies. So embodiment practice. And guess what, y'all? It's free. You don't need anything. You don't need a membership. You just touch yourself. Rubbing your arms, brushing. Oh my God, if you're on YouTube, you're getting a great physical demonstration. You just brush yourself with your hands. You just touch, self-massage, thymus tapping. Can you hear that? Maybe not. It's when you literally just type on your thymus, which is the bone, there's like this meaty thymus gland in between your boobies, and you tap on that, and I'm already calm. So tapping. Let's see. Oh, sorry. I'm in the zone right now because I'm tapping myself. Yeah, just place your hands on yourself, and then that's like literally like I am touching, feeling, experiencing myself, and then there's more embodiment practices like dance. This is more of the expression part where you can express how you're feeling, or you shake it out. You shake out what you're feeling. Just moving your body consciously. Not throwing your back out by twerking. You can twerk, but like feel where it's coming from. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you shaking your ass? What is the point in it? Are you just doing it because someone on Instagram told you to do it? Or are you doing it consciously because there's some stuck energy in your lower sacrum and you need to shake it out? The change is I am teaching from a place of conscious embodiment rather than someone telling you to do something. Does that make sense? Like, you can go on, and this is where Spiritually Flecked podcast came from, is I'm going off on another tangent, but choosing to do something consciously and with awareness rather than just like spiritually bypassing an experience. And so if you are choosing to move your body, like, choose to be there and to experience it and to feel it fully, and not just like because someone on Instagram told you to move your body. Music. Oh my God. That's a frequency. Have you thought of that? But be very conscious of what music you're listening to. I would avoid all hip hop, all of it, because I won't go down this rabbit hole. But if you want to go look at why the hip hop industry is probably not doing the best things with the frequency on this planet, you just want to be careful what you're infiltrating your field with. And if you're choosing music that is infiltrated with bad vibes and darkness, you're gonna feel worse. And this is the spiral people get into, is, oh, I'm this hip hop baddie and I'm in a sad mood, so I'm gonna listen to hip hop. You're gonna stay there. You're gonna be in a really bad place because you're literally on this repeat cycle, and this hip hop music is like reprogramming yourself to just stay in a not yummy place. So you want to pick some really clean, good music from trusted people, or anything that you just always puts you in a better mood. Something lighthearted. I put in my notes. Something melodic, soft, lo-fi house music. You know what you like. You just want something that is really high vibrational, and you can even look up on Spotify like high vibrational music. But just know that music is a frequency, and it can shift you for the greater good or the not so good. So you really want to be conscious of what you're listening to. And if it's trending on TikTok, it's probably not the highest frequency, because there's some dark forces out there. So I'm going to switch to writing. Okay, just write. You can free write, or you can, I don't know, use writing prompts. If you want some writing prompts, go on the internet. Or you can ask me. I can give you some writing prompts, but just like, why are you feeling the way you are feeling? This is another way to let it out and channel. Just remember the word transmuting. I'm accepting where I'm at, and I'm going to change from here. I'm transmuting it. I'm transmuting this emotion. And maybe you'll go off this rant where you're like, I'm feeling like shit about myself. I hate where I'm at, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll realize, oh, this is from a childhood experience that I haven't dealt with yet. And that's the opportunity to radically change your life, because you're forgiving yourself for being where you're at. You're seeing where it's coming from, and you're going to change it. And you're going to give yourself forgiveness in the past, or give your mom forgiveness, or your dad forgiveness. But really, when you're giving other people forgiveness, you're just forgiving yourself for having such a hard time with that situation, or you're forgiving the experience. You're forgiving yourself for holding on for so long. Right now, what you're experiencing, or a hard time you're experiencing, is giving you an opportunity to show you that this is where you need forgiveness and to let go. And then you change. You just got to love yourself where you're at. It's not about passing your pain aside or slapping a mantra over it. It's where accepting where you're at, loving yourself for bringing yourself there up until that point. You've survived. Congratulations. And now you choose to thrive. And lately, I've just been surviving lately. And I've done such a good job. Good job, Taylor. You're still eating and breathing every day. And you're drinking water, and you're taking care of yourself. And maybe you should wash your hair, but you're still surviving. And now I get to thrive because I'm choosing to make a change. I'm not telling you what you're experiencing is not important. It is absolutely important where you're at. And it might be hard. It might be really fucking hard. And I want to see you and hear you in this. But I'm giving you the chance, and I'm inspiring you to make that change. I want to be a realist. And I know people go through things that are traumatic and hard. And I see that and I feel that. But are you going to live in that victim mindset for the rest of your life? Or are you going to change from that and grow from that? I watch Shark Tank all the fucking time, and I see these motherfuckers. They either play the victim or they make a change and they make $1 million because of the company they started. It's like these people are saying, I experienced this, 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 and this. And it puts you in tears because you think, holy shit, that sounds so hard. But look what they created from it. And it's usually a product. That's why it's Shark Tank. But what are you doing with your experiences? Are you living in them or are you thriving from them? Are you living in them or are you learning from them? Boom. Wow. It's really interesting because I didn't want a podcast today because I was in my head like, oh, my hair's dirty. I don't want to do this. I want to do other things. And you know what? I'm really glad I chose to sit down and talk because I feel like I opened up a channel and I'm just like spewing a lot of things. And it's already been 50 minutes. So that's cool. Good job, Taylor. I've been saying good job, Taylor, a lot. And me and my friends have just been saying that because it's like we have to clock in the moments that we are doing good because that's how we change our brain. That's how we rewire. I'm telling you this from a very low place in my life right now. I'm not on this high up and up telling you that life is amazing if you just trust and if you just surrender. And no, I'm telling you this at my fucking pitfall. If you opened up my closet right now, it's completely destroyed. And that's how I feel internally right now. So I'm coming at you. Again, I told myself I'm making this podcast for me because I'm choosing to be where I'm at. And right now, I am choosing to change. And I have to be greater than my environment. And for an example, like this podcast, I had to sit down, even though I didn't want to. I didn't want to do the setup. I didn't want to do this. But I chose to sat down and I changed. And I'm so happy I did. And you just have to ask yourself, how will I feel after I do this? Another thing that I've been going back into is hobbies. And what are my hobbies? Well, music. I started playing guitar again and I started playing piano. And the second I sit down, it is so frustrating because it's so hard for me. I was never good at math. There's some wires loose up in my brain. There's some screws loose, some twisted wires that makes it really, really hard to read music or to learn anything. You know, I could channel all day on the piano, but if you give me a notes to read, I want to cry and scream. And my back always starts to hurt when I do this because it's so frustrating for me. But I always feel so much better when I sit down and I do it. I never want to play guitar because it's uncomfortable to sit. You know, I'm so bad at it. I don't want to watch the YouTube video on how to learn a song. But then when I get up and my fingertips, I see the calluses on my fingertips and my hand kind of hurts. And I know I put in a good session. It makes me feel so good. So I have to push past those uncomfortable situations and do stuff that really push me to do better. And when you do something that is so uncomfortable, but you walk out of it being glad you've done it, that's when you know you're making shifts in your life and you're creating change. I could sit on my ass all day and say, well, you know what? I'm just a writer. And I used to do this. This was my biggest thing is I would say, I'm just not good at music. I'm just going to be a writer. I'm just a songwriter. That's what I meant to do. I meant to produce and write songs. And it was just me bypassing the fact that I sucked at piano or I sucked at guitar and I didn't want to play and practice. But I'm choosing to change. And I'll probably be happy 10 years down the line when I practice 10 minutes every day. 10 minutes every day in 10 years. That's a lot of fucking minutes, you guys. Granted, I practice for more, but I'm doing it. Oh, here's another thing is I'm doing it for me this time. In the past, maybe I was doing it because I wanted to be seen. I wanted my brothers to see me as something. Wow, she's really good at that. But now I'm doing it for me because this is my life, baby. That's what happens when you turn 29. You realize that everything you do in your life, it's all for you. And so I want to understand you deeply if you're going through a hard time right now. But again, this is a lighthearted podcast. I'm reminding you of your worth and your responsibility, and you get to change from here. And there are so many ways you can for free. There are so many ways you can change for free. There's no excuses. Money should never be an excuse. Money is just an extension of energy. And if you are making money an excuse, You just don't want to put energy towards it. And dude, trust me, I grew up freaking poor. I grew up on food stamps. I'm literally on food stamps right now. I get how money is important, but it should not be an excuse. It should not be an excuse. Okay, traveling the world right now, I don't got the money for that, but I'm not making that excuse. I'm saying I don't want to put my energy towards that because I could. I could go work a job. I could go get a real job and save my money and go travel. But I'm choosing not to because I'm choosing to put my energy elsewhere. And my energy right now is in this podcast and in my next book. And I actually do have a job right now, by the way, people. So don't think I'm just sitting at home all day. I have a job. And I have actually multiple jobs. And I'm still dog sitting, and I'm still modeling, and I'm still acting, and I'm still doing other things that make money. I just want to remind you of that. But I could, go make more money and then save money and go travel the world. But I'm not. And I'm not making money the excuse. Because there's I'm talking a lot about some things that might really impact your life is the way you talk. I'm not saying I'm too poor to travel because what is that going to manifest? It's going to manifest me being more poor. I'm saying I'm not putting my energy towards that. So there's a tip for you. Pain is just a director. Being uncomfortable is just a director. How are you going to let it direct you? And it's usually you're breaking for your breakthrough. If you really tune in to the signals and guidance and give yourself the grace of being human, you'll realize that it's not that big of deal also. Because I realized what I was experiencing. We just get too caught up in our head. And it isn't that big of a deal. Like freaking out about still living at home. Why was I making that the biggest deal of my life? Granted, I want my own place and my own house and my own space. But I was literally making that the biggest fucking deal. And then I was like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm pretty great here. Granted, I would love some more free time or alone time. And I would like to not have a bedtime, or I could be loud after the hours of like 9 p.m. But I can't because I live at home. And I was just making that the biggest deal. And it's not that big a deal. I was just so in my head. So you really have to zoom out. You have to zoom out of the bigger picture. Even as I'm making this podcast, I'm feeling so much better and so much in my heart. And I hope you are feeling like that too. I hope you're feeling the same. Because we can get so in our heads and so stuck. All you have to do is take a moment to sit and change. And here's another thing, is just look around you. And maybe if you are spiraling, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can smell, 2 things you can taste, and 1 thing you can feel in your heart. And you can feel it beating. That should probably take you out of the spiral. Do whatever you feel right. Take a moment, pause. I'm greater than my environment. Zoom out, big picture, eagle eye view, and say, is this important to freak out about? Maybe it is important. Maybe it is important. And that's another thing. Take it. But is it? You really got to ask yourself. And if it's not important, that's when you can shift and let it go. When you shift, when you accept your pain, you live life. So, people, this was a great episode. This was long, but I could sit here longer, but my butt hurts. Remember that you are the creator of your life, and remember the word transmuting. What are you feeling? So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. There was a lot of information in this. Listen to this a couple times. I would love to hear how this episode resonated with you. Am I a crazy person, Looney Tunes? Or did you really like what I had to say? Please let me know. I genuinely love feedback because even if it is bad, I get to transmute that. And it might be a casualty, but I'm going to let that be my catalyst, baby. And that has actually happened recently where I got some really shitty feedback and some negative feedback. And it was just one of the more reasons to show up. it was only a reflection of what I was feeling about myself internally. So I chose to change. And here I am. I'm showing up and I'm inspiring you to do the same. I adore you so much. Thank you so much for being here. The only reason I do this is, I don't know. Why am I saying that? I don't know. I feel like that's what people say when they say the only reason, like, when they do things for people is the only reason I'm doing this is for you. But you know what? I'm actually doing this for me. Okay. So I'm going to leave you with all of that. And it's like I never want to end it. That's sweet. I'm just going to leave it there. I hope you have a great life. And I'll see you in the next episode. Okay, everyone. Thank you for listening. I'll see you later.